All right, so this is chapter 7 lecture. Chapter 7 is titled Calculation of Solid Oral Doses and Dosages. Again, you guys, can only I'm just going to keep telling you guys this is that prior to reviewing or listening to my lectures, you should have already reviewed the chapter PowerPoint, read chapter 7, and should have already read my lecture notes. The purpose of this lecture is to basically show you examples. Okay, just provide you examples of the problems. All right, so the whole purpose of chapter 7 and chapter 8 is to calculate doses. All right, and so with chapter 7 you're calculating solid doses, and with chapter 8 you are calculating liquid doses or parenteral liquid medications. That just basically means you're either calculating an oral liquid dose or you're calculating a dosage for an injectable. All right, so I'm going to start with chapter 7. The first thing that you guys need to keep in mind is that your book talks about basically 3 ways to calculate a dose. They're either telling you to use what they call ratio proportion method, a dimensional analysis method, or the formula method. The only 2 methods that you guys are going to see me using, all right, I'm going to teach you 2 ways. You're going to see me either teach you guys the ratio proportion method. You guys have heard of this because you've learned it in your first couple of chapters. You should have been able to read a word problem and set it up as a ratio proportion. Again, doesn't matter how a problem is presented to you, the process is still the same. All right, and the other method I'm going to show you is the formula method. Out of those 2 methods, you're going to determine which method is your best method. All right, I personally use the formula method because it's easier and it's less work, but I'm going to show you both methods. All right, so starting on page 201, I want you to look at example on page 201. I want you to look at example 7-1. All right, it reads, an order is written for 500 milligrams of medication and the available medication strength is 250 milligram per capsule. All right, so this order reads, I'm going to put RX, reads 500 milligrams, and it says the available medication, which means what you have in stock, is 250 milligram capsules. I'm going to say caps. I'm going to summarize it as caps. So they want you to use both. They want you to use the ratio proportion method to determine the dose. How many capsules will the patient take in one sitting? All right. Well, the ratio proportion method is as follows. You're going to set up, I'm going to use RP to say ratio proportion. On the left-hand side, you're going to put what you have in stock. And on the right-hand side of your equal sign, you're going to put your what your prescription is asking. So I will set my problem up. What I have in stock is 250 milligram per 1 cap equals whatever you do to the right hand side, the left hand side as far as units, your units have to match the right hand side. So for instance, because I have milligrams and capsules, milligrams at the top and capsules at the bottom, that means for my prescription order, which is 500 milligrams, where does it go if it has to match the units on the left hand side? Should it go top or bottom? If you said top, you are correct. You're going to put 500 milligrams at the top, and you're going to put X at the bottom. All right? And you're going to solve this problem. How do you solve this problem? You just crisscross multiply. All right? You're going to take 250 milligrams times X equals 500 milligrams per cap. In order to get X by itself, you're going to divide 250 milligrams on both sides. I'm running out of room here. 250 milligrams cancel out on the left-hand side. Milligrams cancel out on the right-hand side, leaving you with X. 500 divided by 250 is what? 2. You're going to need 2 caps. Always provide your units. If you do not give me your units, your answer is wrong. Because I need to know 2 what? Is it 2 capsules, 2 tablets, 2 milliliters, 2 ounces? You always provide your units when you're providing the dose. So this patient is going to take 2 capsules of what they have in stock to equal to that 500 milligram strength of what the doctor has ordered. Now, we solved it as the ratio proportion method. Now, let's solve it as the formula method. The formula method, you guys are going to see, is a much easier method. All right? Much easier method. Sorry, it takes me so long to erase. This is fairly new. Let me rewrite my capsules here. This is milligram caps. All right, so my formula method, I'm going to use FM as the abbreviation for formula method. And your formula method this is your formula method. Dose ordered over dose available times the quantity. Your dose order is the prescription. What did the doctor order? So in this case, they ordered what? 500 milligrams. Well, the dose available has got to match the units of the order. So the dose available is the 250 milligram what? Strength. You're going to multiply that by the quantity, all right? The quantity form associated to the 250. The quantity that's associated to the 250 is what? 1 capsule. Because it says 250 milligram capsule. For every 1 capsule, it's 250 milligrams. All right? So again, the quantity is always the dosage form associated to the dose available. So my milligrams cross out. Same method. You're just dividing 500 by 250 and you get what? 2 caps. Because that's the unit that's left over. Always give your answer with the units. Never leave your answer without the units. Your answer will be wrong. All right. So those are the 2 methods that I want you guys to know. The ratio proportion method and the what? Formula method. So I want you to skip over to page 204. And on page 204 begins your practice problems A. All right. Practice problems A. And as you can see, these chapters build upon each other. So, because these chapters build upon each other, let's read the instructions here. It says, calculate the practice problems below. Show all your calculations. Remember to use the method of conversion that is most comfortable for you. Include how the medication order will be shown on a prescription label. So if you look at number 1 that's on page 205, so these are practice problems A, page 205. Number 1, the very first line says interpret the order. So when I interpret the order, I interpret the order to read Synthroid 175 micrograms by mouth daily in the morning. All right. The next one, it says, what dose to be given? Well, you either need, when it's asking you dose to be given, you're calculating the dose. You're either going to use the ratio proportion method or formula method to calculate the dose. I'm going to do both, all right? The ratio proportion method, I'm going to take what I have in stock. If you look at the label, it says 175 micrograms, and it's what? Per tablet, all right? Equals, what is the order asking for? The order is asking for 175 micrograms. If you're solving this ratio proportion, remember, your units have to mirror both the left side and the right side. So if the order is asking for 175 micrograms, does it go at the top or at the bottom of the right-hand side? If you said the top, you are correct. That 175 micrograms goes at the top and X goes at the bottom. In order to solve, you just crisscross multiply. So that's 175 micrograms times X equals 175 micrograms per tab. Per just only means division, just about, per tab. In order to get X by itself, you guys are going to divide 175 micrograms on both sides. As you can see, 175 micrograms crosses out the left hand side. Also, it crosses out on the right hand side. X is left by itself on the left hand side. And if you divide it out, of course, your answer is 1 tab. Well, what if I use the formula method? So the formula method, which is dose order over dose available times the quantity. Well, your dose order is, again, 175 micrograms. The dose available, you look at the label, the drug label. Your drug label is 175 micrograms times what quantity is associated to your label. Well, it's 1 tab. So if I solve that, 175 micrograms cross out, leaving you with what? 1 tab. This patient's dose is 1 tab. So the directions, that prescription label should read, I'm going to go down here at the bottom. I want you to follow me. That prescription label should read, take 1 tablet by mouth every morning. Remember, your prescription label is what the patient reads every day when they pick up their prescription bottle to take their medication. So it has to be a complete sentence. All right, a complete sentence, no abbreviations, a full-out sentence. So let's see. If it's a complete sentence in the format that I've told you, I have a verb, which is take. I have a dose, which is 1. I have the dose form, which is tablet. I have the route of administration, which is by mouth. And then I also have the frequency, which is every morning. That is how you will complete number 1. All right. Well, let's do number 2. I'll do number 2 with you guys. Again, when you are solving these problems, you are going to choose the method that best fits your comfortability. All right. I personally like to do the formula method. I'm going to solve using both methods. All right, but you guys are going to solve your problem using whichever method that is comfortable for you. All right, but I do want you to know both methods because I may ask you on one of your exams to show me in both methods on how to solve one of these problems. So, looking at number 2, I'm still on page 205. Well, your order, I interpret this order to read for number 2. Ferrous sulfate 10 grains by mouth every morning. All right. If you look at your label up under that order, it reads ferrous sulfate tablets, 5 grains. In parentheses, it tells you they use 324 milligrams as a conversion for 5 grains. All right. So, what will the dose be? Well, you can use either the formula method or the ratio proportion method. For the formula method, it's dose ordered over dose available times the quantity. So the dose ordered in this case is 10 grains. 10 grains is the dose ordered. The dose available, you need to look at the prescription label or the drug label. Let me not say prescription label. This is a drug label. Look at this drug label. And the units have got to match. So I'm going to use 5 grains, and I'm going to multiply that. What quantity is associated to the 5 grains? Well, for every 1 tablet is 5 grains. That quantity is 1 tab. All right. Your grains cross out. 10 divided by 5 is what? 2 tabs. That dose is 2 tablets. Well, let's see if we're right. We can use the ratio proportion method where you guys are going to, take what you have in stock. So what I have in stock is 5 grains over 1 tab equals what the order is asking. The order is asking for 10 grains. So again, if you're using the ratio proportion method, your units have to mirror each other on both sides. You're going to have an unknown. So if my 10 grains, does it go at the top or the bottom? If you said the bottom, you are incorrect. 10 grains actually goes at the top. Again, they have to mirror one another. They have to be looking directly at each other as far as the units. And then X goes at the bottom. In order to solve this, you just crisscross multiply. So that's 5 grains times X equals 10 grains per tab. You're going to divide 5 grains on both sides to get X by itself. 5 grains cross out, leaving X by itself on the left-hand side. Grains cross out on the right-hand side. Divide 10 and 5, and you get 2 tabs. Regardless which method you use, you should get the same answer. So, what will your label instruction, your prescription label instruction read? Again, your prescription label is for who? The patient to read. So, it will read, take 2 tablets by mouth every morning. That is what that prescription label will read. So, moving forward, you guys, I want you guys to do the remaining of these practice problems, numbers 3 through, I believe, 20. Pages 205 to 214. All right. You're going to interpret the order, provide the dose, either providing the dose using the formula method or the ratio proportion method, and then you're also going to give me the prescription label. All right. And what the prescription label should be the complete instructions for the patient. You're going to practice those problems. If you get stuck on any, then you go ahead and feel free to send me an email. We're going to pause here to go to the next portion of this chapter.